Well, hello there, folks. Welcome to this video. This video is all about how you can become a world-class learner. Now, this video is a little bit out of place, but essentially, most of the videos I do on this channel are all about how do you become the very best trainer, presenter, workshop facilitator that you can truly be. But in essence, though, part of that is actually learning how to become an amazing trainer. And an amazing trainer is someone that's consistently learning, developing themselves, and growing all the time. Now, this video was kind of sparked by a post that I saw recently on social media about some of the challenges that adults can face in the learning environment, or some of the difficulties that they can face, such as, they're newer to technology, or they've had life experiences that have been negative in regards to learning, or they've just had dramas, or maybe they've got difficult circumstances at work that are preventing them from learning, or maybe they've got things going on at home that are preventing them from learning. Now, definitely all of those things are absolutely valid. Yes, we're all going to placate to that. We're going to say, I've got 1,000 excuses not to learn, or I've got 1,000 excuses to show up and be a learner that needs some special attention, so to speak. Now, in this video, I'm going to sort of step on some toes a little bit, but I really want to challenge the learners out there, or the people that show up and want the special attention, or they show up thinking the world should mold around them. Because what we need to realize, folks, is if you want to become a world-class person at anything, you need to become a world-class learner. What does that actually mean? Well, in today's video, I want to go through 9 things that a world-class learner does that are a little bit different to the average learner, so to speak, or the learner that shows up and bitch, moans, complains, and wishes that everybody focused on them and made them feel good through the process, right? So let's jump into it. Now, when I share these, I'm sharing it from the perspective of I grew up a slow learner. I grew up as someone that really struggled to learn. And over time, though, as I traveled through my adolescence and, learned different things, I discovered that learning and the results that I get all came back to the mentality that I actually took into the learning environment, right? And there's been many seminars that I've been to that most people couldn't even handle one day of, right? So I've been to public speaking events that have gone from 8 a.m. in the morning till 6, 7 o'clock at night, just straight 9 days straight of presenting. I've been to things that have gone to 2 a.m. in the morning. I've gone to things that have required picking up the phone, calling people, having difficult. I've been through the most intense personal development seminars that you could imagine. So when someone comes along to a workshop and they go, oh, I don't like the start time, or, I can't use the computer, it sometimes baffles me, because at the end of the day, the results that you get are a reflection of what are you willing to actually step into, and how far are you willing to stretch yourself. So let's get into the 9 things that I believe a great quality learner is willing to do that maybe someone that really struggles with learning is not yet ready to adopt, right? But if you are ready to adopt these 9 characteristics, you're going to find your learning results really accelerate. So get ready to write, grab a pen, and let's jump into it. So the first one, number 1, is have a no matter what attitude. A no matter what attitude that really also encompasses a huge why. Right? So for me, when I went to those public speaking events, many people actually quit after 2 or 3 days. Me, on the other hand, I had a no matter what attitude. I was like, no, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do whatever it takes, because I've got a really crystal clear goal at the end of the experience of what I want to create for myself. I had a no matter what attitude. No matter how hard it gets, I'm going to stay in the game. And staying in the game was my aim, right? And I really didn't care how I performed. My only outcome, or the only thing I really wanted to achieve, was just stay in the surf. No matter how bad it gets, I'm going to stay in the game, right? I had a no matter what attitude, and I had a crystal clear vision that I was working towards there, right? The second one is I was committed to rise into the circumstances. So if it started at 8 a.m., I was going to be there 30 minutes early. I was going to be there ready to go, organized. I was going to rise to those circumstances. I was not going to say to the trainer or to the workshop facilitator, oh, I'm going to be a little bit late. Could you start later for me? Or could you catch me up or anything like that? I was going to rise to the conditions no matter what, and I was going to make sure that I was performing to my optimum that was required, and I was going to meet those circumstances. If there was things to do beforehand, I was going to get them done. If there was, activities, I was going to play it 100%, right? I was not going to try and get special attention because of any particular reason. I was going to show up and I was going to do what was required. Because that's what extreme, peak performers do. They don't go, oh, Olympic Games. Could you just, lower the standards for me because I'm special? I mean, we got Special Olympics, but even in that, it's like, no, that's the standard we perform to, right? So don't try and lower the standards for you. You rise to the standards, right? So number 3 is have a get it done attitude. Have a get it done attitude. And what that means is if the trainer or someone says, we're doing this, it's like, all right, cool. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done no matter what. I'm going to get it done. I'm just going to get it done. And if the person says, oh, I need you to write an ebook in 24 hours, I've been to one of those seminars. You go, all right, cool. I'm just going to get it done. Excuses, I'm just going to throw them out the window. I'm just going to get it done. Just get it done. Just get it done. And there's no ifs or buts. It's just, we just get it done. You have a mission-focused attitude, right? Next one. Number 4 is be willing to take on feedback. Be willing to take on feedback. And realize that if you're going to a public speaking workshop or if you're going to a leadership seminar, or if you're going to anything, you need to appreciate that highly likely if you're in the right environment and you're dealing with a trainer that's got integrity, highly likely they're giving you feedback because they want the best for you. They really do. And anything they're saying because they want to help you get a better result. So when you receive feedback, just take the personal stuff out of it. Take the emotional stuff out of it and go, all right, cool. This person is more experienced than me. I'm going to take on what they're saying. I'm going to play with it. I may not agree with it, but I'm going to play with it. And I'm going to see what results I get as a result of taking that on. If I don't agree with it, I'll change my mind later on. All right. There's been a number of times where my mentors have given me feedback. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying right now, but I'll write it down. I'll play with it. And then lo and behold, I play with it. I actually get a great result. And I'm like, didn't like it at the time, but that was the feedback I needed to hear, folks. All right. So that was uncomfortable, but I knew they had the best interest for me, and they've been doing it longer than me, so maybe I should be coachable. Maybe I should listen up. I don't know. So naturally, we want to make sure that the person delivering the feedback does it in an effective way, but be coachable, be willing to listen to that feedback. Next one, preparation, right? Now, then this part is going to sound harsh and brutal. But here's the thing, folks. If you're going to invest in like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 courses, or even $1,000 course, or $2,000 course, whatever it is, right? If you're going to make a time investment or a financial investment, please be prepared. And what I mean by that is prepare your food. How are you going to eat? When are you going to eat? Oh, you're going to have snacks, right? Are you going to prepare your energy levels, right? If the course goes from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. or whatever it is, how are you going to manage your energy? Are you going to stand up, move around? If you've got injuries, how are you going to prepare for managing those injuries, managing the pain? Don't turn up to the workshop and go, oh, I need special attention. It's like, no, take care of it, right? Now, this is brutal, but next one is prepare your environment. What do I mean by that? Prepare people around you to say, look, I know that you need some special support right now, or I know that you need me to be helping you out with some different things right now, but I can't because I'm attending a course. Please just give me some allowance, give me a week off, or give me 2 or 3 days. Please be just aware that I need time to focus, and I am focused right now on learning, right? So it's preparing your environment and people around you to be considerate of what's going on for you, right? So you've got to be able to prepare your food, your energy, your time, and people around you to know, yeah, I'm going to put up some boundaries right now, and sorry, I'm just not going to be available, right? So people that don't do that, though, they complain there's not enough time, they complain about all these different things, but you've got to be prepared, right? So the next one, though, is looking at technology and equipment. Technology and equipment. What I mean by this is I'd like you to imagine that learning is kind of like running a marathon. So if you're going to sign up to a seminar, it's going to go for 5 days or 10 days. I'd like you to think about it as a bit of a marathon. So with marathon, are you going to turn up with no practice? Well, that'd be weird. Are you going to turn up with brand new shoes that you've never worn before? Well, that'd be weird. Like, are you going to turn up and show up and go, oh, I'll just see what happens, or I'm going to try my new shoes and just see if they fit? Of course you're not. So what we find is that people that are like world class learners, they've got a different attitude. They're going to buy the laptop or the marathon running shoes. They're going to buy it a week out. They're going to set up their laptop. They're going to practice using the laptop. Or, if we're looking at public speaking, maybe they're going to buy a notebook. They're going to buy a couple of pens to make sure they're sorted. They're going to print off the information they need. They're going to do all these things to make sure that they are ready and they're prepared so that when they turn up on day one, they're like good to go. They're squared away, as they say. So they're not going, oh, my laptop's not working. Oh, shit. Oh, I don't have my charger, right? All of that stuff, it's taken care of well beforehand, right? It's like a week before, you go, you do what's required with the equipment. You're getting used to using it before you show up on day one, right? Now, yeah, absolutely. We all have things that go wrong, but world-class learners have taken the time to get set up early so that, yeah, they're good to go on day one, right? So next one is number 7 here is be strategic and stick to your strategies. Be strategic and stick to your strategies. What I mean by that is if you set up a strategy, stick to it, right? And they have planned out everything so that, yeah, all right, cool. Day one, day two, they're just so strategic with everything, and they've got ownership around what they do, right? So if something's going wrong, they're like, all right, cool, I've got a contingency for that. I got a contingency for that. I got a contingency for that. If you got an emergency call and something happens, like, no, right now I'm in a seminar. This is my priority, right? So world-class learners, they're able to be fully in the experience. Next one, get a support group. Get a support group. Now, it's a little bit unusual, but at the end of the day, learning is hard. We'll talk about that in a second, but we need to appreciate that the more you have people around you that can hold you accountable, but can also lift you up when required, the higher the probability you'll actually complete your learning experience, so to speak. So if I dial all the way back to when I did my very first public speaking course, there were 200 people in the room, but I was very lucky to come across 2 individuals that became my support group. So, I'll go out and do something, screw it up, come back, we'd have a chat. But they did. They never said, oh, Mark, maybe you shouldn't do this, or, yeah, I feel that too, I'm going to give up, or anything like that. We held each other accountable. And we talked in a positive way. We said, yeah, that was a little bit tricky, but we'll get through it. Or, yeah, that was a little bit hard, but I can see how I'm developing. Right? So we had support that was positive, not negative, right? So we reinforced the good stuff as opposed to giving up on the hard stuff. Next one, number 9, is accept that learning will be hard, and if we want the result, we need to walk through the mud. If we want the result, we need to walk through the mud, knowing that the good stuff is at the end of the experience, right? So many times people go, oh, learning should be fun, learning, yeah, I always want to feel great. Well, maybe that's not always the case. Learning is something that can be challenging. It can be something that's frustrating. It's something that can be confusing. Do I throw my toys out of the cot and go, oh, it's all too hard, I'm gonna run home? It's like, well, maybe not. Maybe we just embrace the idea that all learning at some times can have those moments of frustration, confusion, and a little bit of struggle. Learning's going to be hard. But what do? We push through it and we come back to point number one that I was talking about, which is we have a no matter what attitude. We have a crystal clear why. And it's like, all right, yeah, maybe in high school I was a slow learner. So what? I find the strategies that work for me and I show up in 100%. I don't try to bring the standards down. I rise myself up to the standards, right? So for me, I'm a committed lifelong learner. And I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you probably are as well. And I do a lot of workshops. I do a lot of workshops, public speaking, training, designing workshops, assessing people, a little bit in that space there as well. But I also am very avid in the martial arts world, right? I've been doing martial arts for about 7 years now. And it's like, I don't go to martial arts and say to the instructor, could you lower the standards for me? Oh, can I turn up 5 minutes? I don't do right? Martial arts is live and die. It's literally on the street, and it's like, if you're in an attacking situation, it's like, oh, could you please not? It's like you just got to get that kind of mentality around learning and showing up in the best way possible. When you commit to becoming a world class learner, you show up very differently in a workshop. All right. And I just wanted to share this with people because I often see people, who want to be great trainers, but they show up with a very limited, I guess, expansion mentality or a very limited ability to plan out their own success. All right. So hopefully you got some value from this video. Maybe it's a video that you share with other people as well. But for me, once I made the decision to become, I'm going to be the best learner that trainer right now in front of me has ever seen, everything changed for me because I was willing to go, nah, all right, the average is here. I'm going to be there. People are turning up at this time. I'm going to turn up at that time. And I'm going to wow the trainer with my willingness to take on the information. I want to be a superstar learner. I want to be the person that's at the front row asking the questions. I want to be the most coachable person that I've ever come across. And that attitude has got me to where I've got to these like now, right? I've got to the place where I've written a book, or I've been on many stages delivering to large audiences. Like I can't even count the number of workshops I've delivered up to this day, but only because of one thing. I've become obsessive about being a great learner. That's all it is, right? What's my one superpower? I'm a faster learner than most people out there. That's all it is, right? So on that note, folks, hope you got some value from the video. As always, like, comment, share. Let's get this out there and let's give some power to people that want to become even greater learners there, folks. On that note, thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.